welcome to day 4 of Local Hack Day, and today we're going to work on the challenge which is creating a mobile app. So glad to have so many of you here. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon based on wherever you are. It is currently morning for me, 10 a.m. here in Hong Kong. Yes. So, how are all of you feeling today about the challenge, about the day? How's it going for all of you? Yes, good morning to all of you. Oh wow, it's 3 a.m. for you, Adam. That is pretty serious dedication for the challenges. So happy to have all of you here. Um, wow, so many people from all over the world. This is so good to see. So excited to be here. 7 p.m., 10 p.m., 3 a.m. Oh my god. You guys are literally like staying up all night. That is just so good to see. 7:35 in India. Wow. Okay. That is super early for you, Shiva. So today, so first of all, sorry, so rude. I should first introduce myself. I'm Manya. I'm a major league hacking coach. I'm in year 3 of university, currently studying in the University of Hong Kong. I've been doing hackathons for the past 2 years now. I've done so many of them, but a non-hackathon fun fact about me: I love to bake. So I very occasionally bake. I think shout out to any fellow bakers in the comments. Would love to see how many of you like to bake or are like obsessed with eating baked food. Let's just call it that. Yep. Okay. So what is it that we're doing today? Why is everybody gathered here? We are going to build a mobile app today. So you can build anything. You can. Oh wow, we have people who bake. Super nice. Yay, fellow bakers. Okay, so what we're going to do today is build a mobile application. You can do anything, you can build anything. You can use any platform to make your mobile application. It does not have to be a native Android app or a native iOS app. You can use cross-platform frameworks, or you can go the traditional way and build just an Android or just an iOS app. Oh wow, that's a super amazing idea. We can make a baking app. Should have thought of that before. But surely you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to try something on my system, but you all are free to either follow me along or build something completely of your own. But before we get started with any of that, please make sure to check in. The link is going to go on here. If you did not come on the stream via Discord, I would highly recommend you to like go on Discord, click on the link, check in, register, so that you don't miss out on points for your guild, because we all want our guilds to be on the top. We know Blahaj gang is going to stay on top anyway. So the sticker is going to stay here in case you want to register later in the event. It's going to keep on going. Make sure to please check in and register on the event. So yes. Okay, I'm going to give Eddie Hub some footage also, since, well, you folks are second, so I mean, you deserve it. But yay! Alright, so let me know what you all want to build today, or what are your ideas. What are a couple of things that you want to work on? I am going to be using React Native for my cross-platform development, since I don't really know native development. So I can only do React Native and Flutter. And today I've decided that my tool of trade is going to be React Native. So what is it that I'm going to build? And let me know what you have in mind, or what you currently don't have in mind but are like thinking of doing. So I thought that usually I like to learn a lot of stuff when studying for various kinds of courses. And while I was preparing for my exams back in high school, I was kind of obsessed with flashcards. So I have decided to take flashcards digital, and I'm thinking of making a flashcards app on React Native. So let's see how that goes. I am not sure what will work out, but yeah, let's see. Shivam is asking, React Native, will I be able to flow? Yes, Shivam, you will be able to pick up React Native very quickly. It's a very simple framework to use. You'll be able to pick it up real quick. Don't worry about that. A tic-tac-toe app, that sounds super nice too. Really looking forward to everything that you all make. Please do submit your projects on the Devpost link so that we can all see all the amazing projects that everybody is working on. So I'm going to get this party started. Also, while I'm going to try to use an emulator, it is possible that it might get super slow or it might not work out. So we will see what happens, because mobile app development can always get tricky. Yes, I will try my very best to introduce React Native to the best of my abilities. Like, I will talk a lot about what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So yay, we have people who have started working with React Native. That's super nice to see, Atul. Great work there, and do submit your projects with us. Okay, so let me share my screen and let us get started. So, 1 second. We are building a flashcard app, and I am not going to be doing sorry. I'm not going to be doing the animations on my own, and I'll make use of a lot of third-party packages. And yeah, you can do that too. Yes, this is very true. React Native has pretty good documentation, and it has really nice community support. I quite working on the framework just till the time it doesn't give me a lot of errors. So I will go on here and we can get started. So I already have an app initiated. Okay, here we go. So the first thing that we need to do whenever we're working with obviously any app or framework is start a new one. So I already have this app initialized, but I can also quickly walk through how we're going to do it. But before you start this, you obviously want to set up your system with a couple of stuff. So if people here are interested in learning how to do development in React Native, the docs are actually a great place to get started. When you click on docs, it sort of takes you to the basics. You obviously need to read those to understand how React Native works and how you can work with it. But for the purpose of this stream here, or if you want to quickly get started with development, you can just go to the environment setup and you can click on this setting up the development environment. And you can follow the guides based on your system and the things that you want to do. So Expo is basically a package or a framework. I'm not exactly sure, but it helps you very quickly start your React Native development. But I won't be using Expo CLI today because the third-party packages that I'm using, I'm not sure if they're compatible with Expo. So it's a different league out there. So I'm going to just stay on the React Native CLI thing. And you can just click your development OS, your target OS, and you can follow all of these long steps that unfortunately I won't be covering today. But you feel free to go through them and set up your system and get started. So to create a new application, we basically run this command. So this is a command that I already ran. So if we can try running it again. Yes, and it just basically will on its own quickly start the whole thing. So I'm going to cancel it because I don't want to make another project again. I already have a project initiated here at flashcards, and you can see this is what the directory looks like. These node modules are basically all the packages that are required by your application, and it will node modules are also all the packages that we will be installing for our application. To install, we quickly do yarn add and basically the name of the package, xyz, whatever it might be. So first we want to take a look at what we have here. This is the basic app. I'm going to build it and run it on my emulator. So first let's hope that the emulator works for us. Permission denied, not denied, and let's run it. Okay, let's see where you all are at. Aaron, you've just asked me how many points I have in my leaderboard, and I don't want to say zero, but I think somewhere there. Yep. Thank you so much, Ashwin, for sharing this check-in link with us. Yeah, everybody, please feel free to like copy it from right here and check in. So true. Node modules are so heavy. Also, remember to never commit your node modules. Never. I'm pretty sure all of us have once done this in our development careers. Okay, so here we have an emulator. We don't need this, and yes, let's try to build it and run it now. So on one terminal, I have my app Metro server running. So this is npx React Native start. It just starts our JS server. And then here on the second terminal, I'm going to do npx React Native run Android. What this is going to do is it's basically going to build the Android app on the device that it finds. So yes, it found this and it would sort of start installing the app on the emulator. Is the audio fine now? I actually didn't do anything to the mic. Just so give me a second. Okay. Is it a little better now? Yeah, I knew it myself. Yeah, is it better now? Okay, how about now? No. Distorted. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay. Uh, super quiet. Okay. How about now, folks? It's good? Okay, fine. Oh, all right. So sorry that you all had to go through that. I do not know what just happened. But okay, let's go back to where we were. Wonderful. Okay, let's get back to wherever we were and yes. Okay. So, yeah. We had an error already. It is because SDK root environment variable is not set up. So we want to make sure that our path contains the Android SDK. So I'm just going to fix mine and okay, should have the SDK root now. I'm going to run Android now. So it's installing and this time hopefully the build will not fail. Yes, it's building and yep. I want to hear more about what all of you are making actually. Oh my god, that is so true. Can I share a link of the resources? Yes, I will share the documentation link with all of you right here. So you can basically click on this. This is basically the documentation link. You can follow this and you can just set up the whole environment. You can set up Java, Android Studio, depending on like obviously whatever platform you're building on and what platform you're building for. Really just went. Yes, it really just went. Yes, we have to use the Android SDK for the mobile emulator. I am also using like a physical device just in case everything goes bad with like the emulator that we have here. So let's see the status of our code here, and it did build successfully. So let's go. Okay, so it built successfully. It's here on the emulator, and we can see this is what the default app looks like when you just initialize a React Native project. This is their example page. So what we want to do is like sort of get rid of all of these things and build the flashcards on top of here instead. So a couple of things that we will be using to get that done is this Flipkart package. What this does is, as you can see, it creates these animations to ensure that it when you click on a card, it sort of gives this flipped look. And the other thing that I will be using is this React Native text swiper. So it gives us this effect so that we have like multiple flashcards and we can like flip through them and swipe left or right. Okay, so now if you are really enthusiastic about animations, there are also a couple of tutorials using which you can create these effects on your own. If you're interested, I can actually share those links with all of you. But for the purpose of this stream, and like I in general don't really like to like understand animations so much, and obviously these third-party packages are there to help you out, so I'm just going to directly make use of those. But you can feel free to like go through tutorials and create the animations on your own, because it gives you just so much more flexibility, and you can customize it in a way better way. So I will go ahead and install this, but I am not using npm as my package manager, so I will just replace that with yarn. So there are basically two package managers, npm and yarn, and it's completely up to you which package you want to use. So for yarn, we use yarn add, and we install this. Okay, let's get back to you folks and see what you're doing. Also, you don't have to use React Native if you're familiar with Flutter, if you're familiar with Java, Kotlin, Objective-C, Swift. Feel free to use those to develop your mobile application. I'm just using React Native because that's what I'm comfortable with. Yes. So as we can see, the packages are getting installed here. So that is the first package that we want to use. Once it gets installed, we can... Yes. Okay. Yeah, I am going to share the animated package links with you all right now. So yes, this is the first package, and the second package that I wanted was this. No, the Flipkart I wanted the text swiper next. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to... Oh no. Wrong link. This and yeah. Okay, so just 1 second, Shubham coming out to help you out. Also, folks, these are the packages that you would require. Let's go. This is the text swiper, and we have the Flipkart, which is okay. So I'm going to try to repeat the process from the beginning. The very first thing that you need to do is go to the React Native documentation, and the link I already shared on the Twitch chat and actually everywhere. Just open the official documentation. Then there is a tab that says Getting Started. So in the Getting Started, there is an environment flow. And sorry, let me just show it. I'm being stupid here. Sharing my screen, and yeah. So when you open the documentation, let's do it from scratch. So when you open the documentation, this is what you will see. Then you can click on docs, and then you can go on environment setup. click on setting up the development environment, and you can see like a whole guide of everything that you need to do. So what you can do here now is that you can pick the development OS. It means the OS that you're on, and the target OS, which means for whatever mobile platform you want to build an application. And then it'll basically, you have to install a couple of dependencies for it to work on your system. So you can follow those steps. Once you have everything in place, you can go ahead and create a new application. So once you've done that, we come to the main development part, which starts here. When you start development, you first run npx react native start, which starts your metro server. You will get all of these steps along the way. When you follow the documentation, it will guide you through all of this. Don't worry about it. And the second thing you need to do is you need to build the application on your emulator. So you run this command npx react native run android or run ios based on whatever mobile app platform you're building it for. And once you've done that, you will be able to see your app running on the emulator. Now what we're trying to do is we're adding a couple of packages to make our flashcards work. So the first package that I added here was react native flip card, which will allow me to create that flip effect of the flashcard. And the second thing that I'm going ahead with is the react native deck swiper, which is going to allow me to like move through a couple of flashcards. So yeah, those are literally all the basics that we have covered so far, and now we're going to try to use them. I've also shared the link of the two packages that I'm using, so you all can quickly go ahead and take a look at that. So Shivam, you're trying to use the Expo CLI, and what we're using here is the React Native CLI guide instead. Since I'm not sure if the packages that we are using here are compatible with Expo, so we're going to stick with plain React Native development. So when you do the setting up development environment, there are two guides. There's the Expo CLI Quick Start, and there's the React Native CLI Quick Start. So what we want to use right now is the React Native CLI Quick Start. Yeah, so the very first thing that one needs to do before we start developing React Native or React is we need to have Node on our system. So see, this is the first dependency. Once you follow this, once you install Node on your system, you will have npm. So you just need to do that, and if you already have done it, just make sure that your paths are correct so that your system can recognize npm. Okay, putting all of that aside, we've done the installation. So now let's check the documentation and see how we can get this started. So I will not add the deck swiper right now. I'll first just try to add the flashcard and see if it works, and then we will put the flashcard in a separate file. But okay, let's go and see how the flashcard is supposed to work. So this is the flip card. It has quickly shown us that this is how we can use it. We can also customize it with the different props that it provides us. So I'm just going to take this simple piece of code, and I'm going to just try to copy it here. So okay, maybe zoom this in a bit. Yeah. All right. So we will keep the safe area view. We'll keep the status bar. What we will do is we will remove the scroll view, and we will, yeah, we don't really need the scroll view. So removing this, and we can keep the header, but we sort of might not need it. The view, and here we can remove the sections. So what we will do now is copy this piece of code and paste it here, format it, and we just need to import Flipkart right now. So going here and importing, so we can just copy the import statement actually also. So we have copied our import statement, we've copied the basic code. So let us check now if this straight up off the bat works correctly for us. Seems like not really. It did not really work for us on the go. So let us see the sort of things that could have gone wrong in the process. I think I should remove the header. since it's making should we download Android Studio? So let's go to the documentation and see what it says. So yes, we do need to install Android Studio if we are doing Android development, else we won't be able to set up the whole thing. We'll have to set up the SDK platform, as well as the virtual device where you will be running your application. Okay, so let's come back here. We can see that it's giving us like a blank screen, which means that the flip card is not really being displayed. So it's possible that this is being caused by lack of styling on it. That seems to be something that does happen. So let us look at this example instead, and actually we might be able to find more detailed examples on their GitHub repo, so we can see completely how that works. So we have this example file, and this is the indexed android.js. So we can just open that up and see how this is being used. So they have sort of used a very simple, okay, let's use the customized one. So I'm going to copy this and going to paste this here, and we also need a bit of styling to make sure that the style.face and style.back has some stuff to it. I'm going to sort of remove the styling. Yes, okay. So the three classes that we see here are card, face, and back. So we need to create these styles, the styles for it. So let's go here. Maybe we can just take their styles. So they have card, face, and back styles. Okay. We can always customize them and make them our own, but let's just try to get something on the screen. We have got our first error, which says this.state is not an object. This is definitely trying to use, okay. So this is trying to use the state, and obviously we don't have a state right now. Also, we're using functional components, which means we cannot have a state here like this. So let's go back to their examples and look at the one with the customized users and see if flip is needed. So we don't really need flip, and we can initialize this to be false. Let's make sure that there's no other this.state being called. And okay, once again, we are greeted by this empty white screen. This happens ever so often. So what I'm going to do is like try to stop everything and run it again. It does end up working at times, so might work this time as well. Mobile app development can get very tricky when it comes to making sure that everything shows up on the screen. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. npx React Native start. Hey, thanks for joining us right now. We're trying to build a mobile app, which so what I'm trying to do here is try to make a flashcards app, but you can feel free to go ahead and build anything that you want on any platform that you want to build it. So hope that you have fun while doing this development, and excited to see all of your projects on Devpost, like I said before. Okay, so we have the server running, and let's go back and try to run this. Yep. Okay. Let us hope that this time we do see the flip card that we do want to see here. There is, yeah, card with flex, flex1. Yep. All of this sounds right. Yet we don't see a flip card on here. That is quite sad. Okay. Let us see why that might be. Do we have any debugging statements? Nothing here. Everything seems to be fine according to it. Flip card. Now let me try to display some text here, and we cannot see even the text Okay, we can see the text, but we cannot see the flip card that we created. Okay. So let me go back to the very basic version of it and see if everything is working fine for that version. Make this smaller and let us go. So this is the flip card. Yes, we have a view here, and let's replace this. Okay, wonderful. Okay, truth time. Again, nothing here to show on the flip card. As a precaution, let me also try to run it on my phone and see if it maybe works so that I can share with all of you that it works. So hey, okay, I understand it's completely fine to like take it slow. The first thing that you need to do here is get the Android Studio app, because it will allow you to have the emulator. It will allow you to install Android SDK, and we cannot do any sort of Android development without the Android SDK. So you can get all of those things in place, and then you can follow along this stream later on. All of these streams are recorded, so you don't have to worry about following along right now. This at this point, this sort of assumes that you have React Native set up, or you have any sort of mobile app development platform set up, but it's completely understandable if some of you folks don't have it. It's completely normal. You can get started with setting up React Native right now, and you can ping me with any sort of messages or confusions that you have later on also, and you can come back, look at the stream, and try to follow along with everything that's happening here. So you don't have to worry about just following along through everything at this point. I can understand it can get a little bit frustrating. Hope that helps. I can share the documentation link with all of you quickly again, so that you all can. Yeah, maybe if you missed the link, I can share that with you. There we go. Yep. So let us try to now show the flip card, which is not showing on our screens. Let's take this time, and I'm sort of trying to set it up on my mobile phone, since I find that to be like a more reliable emulator than my digital one any day. So I'm going to try to run Android again, and this time hopefully have it. Okay. Yeah, so I'm building it on my phone right now. I'm sorry I can't really share the screen, but yeah, nothing on our mobile screens as well. So let's try to dig deeper into why the flip card isn't showing up and what's going wrong here. So let's check at their example usage and see exactly how they make use of the component, or if there's any other detail that we're missing out in the process. Yes, so we have an example, Android example, and well, we can see that they have like a simple view, and inside of it they have this. They also have a view with a container style. We can make sure to put that styling in our thing as well. So let's go here and let's come back to this, remove all of these things, and just add the container. And we're going to give this a style of style.container. Yes. Not sure. Okay. So one thing is that whenever you're doing development with React Native, you have to make sure that your Metro server was running before you did a build. If that is not the case, you will often come across a white screen. So because I sort of used two devices, so yeah, sort of broke the flow there. So I have to actually go back, close this here, start this again, these things can get a bit frustrating, but you sort of get used to them when you've been developing with this environment for a while. um, yes, and yes, so this is on, and going to disconnect my phone so that I'm disconnecting my phone just so that we're assured that whatever builds on our emulator here, so that all of you can see it. So yes, that's what I'm going to run right now. And yep, here we are, still not hoping to see anything. Okay, but we have a new sort of new progress here, is that it's not even displaying the text anymore. So it's not just the flip cards that's not showing up, even the text isn't showing up. Yes, so this, we have given it a background color, but it did not really take up the background color. So let's see what went wrong. We do not have any background styles for, oh, we do. Okay, we can actually remove this, and also we're not using TypeScript, so, or Flow, so these this is sort of not right. These are details that you don't really have to worry about at this point. If you're new to React Native, you can just ignore this stuff. Yes. So come back to the build, and we're trying to make sure that everything that we have shows up on the screen. This is literally like the biggest challenge right now, to make sure that the flip card works like we want it to work. I might cheat a little bit if this does not work out in the next 10 minutes. I also have a backup project ready just in case something like this happens. So I might go to it, copy a bit of code from there, and hope that works out. Okay. So this is, so basically we don't need sections anymore, so I can just go ahead and delete this piece of code. So this is all the stuff that comes by default with the new React Native app that you create. Since we don't need those, I can just very easily like go ahead and clean up some of my code here. So we didn't make all of these. We can remove all these stylings as well, and yeah, we're left with something that looks like this. Can't find colors, don't worry. We're not even going to support dark mode right now, so I'm getting rid of that. And yes, so we've made it like a very bare app. And okay, let's just first try to make sure that even our text gets displayed, which it is not. This is quite sad. To do start afresh, make sure things work. This happens very often. Like, you'd be surprised how often this happens with React Native. But still, this is using React Native is as good compared to Android Studio. So I'm not sure if I get the question, but if we're talking about comparing React Native with like native app development on Java, it sort of depends on what we're trying to do. If we want to do like quick prototyping, and if we have a team which doesn't really know Java, React Native is a good way to go, because it allows for cross-platform development. You can build apps for both Android and iOS with pretty much the same code. But there are obviously flaws with any framework that you use. And at the end of the day, these cross-platform frameworks, they aren't as reliable as the native platforms. At least that's my understanding. But for like quick prototyping, for hacking stuff around, these platforms are the best. Like, it doesn't get better than this. So I hope that answered your query. Or if you have like more doubts, you can feel free to like continue the conversation there. Yes, okay. Let's go back, let's start again, and let's try to make this work. So we start the Metro server, then we go and we sort of build our Android app. Making sure, hoping that it works. Okay, build successful, and it opened up our app, but it doesn't really display anything on it. So I'm pretty sure that this app has become faulty and we can build it again. Yep. Okay, I think I might be wasting a bit of time of everybody, so I am sort of going to go jump onto my backup and see where maybe I'm messing things up, or what's the sort of difference that we have in both the projects. So I had a quick hack prepared here. Um, Obviously, this takes a bit of time, so don't really want to waste anybody's time here. Let me open it quickly from my terminal. That's faster any day. Just save. So I want to know where the progress is for all of you, and what is it that you have planned to build today. Let me know in the comment section whatever you're planning to do with your mobile app development skills. Also, folks, this is a week-long challenge, so you can start right now, and maybe you can submit your project by the end of the local hack day share. So whenever you're ready with your mobile applications, you can go ahead and share those with us. So I'm going to see my whole project, which is not this. Okay, opening one more window and hoping to unravel some mystery of what's going wrong. Okay, so I am just going to take this. Okay. Yeah, let's come back to stream. So we have this here. Let's just, okay, quickly going to remove all of this as well, and just, and we have the container, the face, back, and okay. So we can now see something. This probably is a glitch that happens because of the safe area view. We can dive later into why that went wrong. And right now, if you click on it, you can see a very basic flip happening. This requires a lot of styling to be done, but we right now know that this flip effect is working for us. So I can go ahead, remove this text. Now I need to use this flip card inside of the swiping text that we're going to make. So I'm going to separate this out as a different component and reuse it. So let's make a new other component. Oh, tic-tac-toe app. Sounds good. What is everybody else planning to make, and what are you all starting to work on? So here I can just make a new component called flashcard, and yes, and I'm going to return this flipkart component. I'm just going to take it away from here and put it here, and we can just now use the flashcard wherever we want to use this whole flipkart piece of code. So all I need to do is I need to call flashcard, and it's going to do everything for me. So we really do want to fix the CSS a bit also. So now we can go to the more advanced version of the flipkarts that we have, and give it a bit of settings here and there. So just, we're giving it friction, perspective. We want it to flip horizontally and not vertically, so changing those couple of things, and there you go. We need to create we have a styling for the the card, and yes. What we can do right now here is just call this flashcard, and simple. How neat our code looks. Okay, so the height and all, we will be fixing that pretty quickly too. Let's actually, I'm not going to give any fixed height right now. We'll do that later on. Okay, so two more things. Every flashcard needs to have like a question and an answer. So hey Adam, what do you mean by a melons app? Really interested to know what that means. So now we know that the flashcard is supposed to have like a question and an answer, and that will sort of replace the text here. And this question and answer, these should be variables. This should come from like a data source. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add two props here, one which says question and the other which says answer. So we have our question and answer, and I can just replace the face and back with that variable. So I can take this to question and I can take this to answer. So we have that. So now whenever we call flashcard, we need to give it these two values. What is your name? Obviously, this is not something I need to put on a flashcard, but yes, I don't know what else to, what other questions to put right now. So it needs to start from the front and then go to the back. So what is your name? So yeah, that is how it's going to work out. So in this case, when we have given a width of 200, this is all absolute. It would be relative if we give it something like 50%, which is apparently an error. So yeah, in this case, this is sort of relative to the parent container, but when we say 200, it is sort of absolute. Yes. Yeah. So we got that out of the way. We have a flashcard. We can give it a question and an answer. Now the one thing that is remaining for us to do is to create a swiping deck. So I will remove this line of code for now, and we have this other package called the deck swiper. I already installed it. I showed you to do yarn add. So what we need to do now is see how this particular package needs to be used. Documentation should be your best friend. Seriously, like there's everything on here. All we need to do is like take it and hope that it works. So I'm just going to copy the swiper code first of all. Just the basic code. I'm going to change nothing in here to begin with, because again we want to see if it shows up. A couple of things that are not here, obviously we haven't imported it. I haven't imported it. So the import statement from React Native deck swiper. Yes, and it's probably, yeah. So got that, and it still cannot find swiper. I hope I get the name right. React Native deck swiper. Yes. Let's go back to the emulator. Cannot find button. Obviously, that's fair. We did not give it button, so it cannot find button. Button is the component that is available in the React Native repo. So you can see here, this is sort of distorted because again, the styling is not what it expects it to be. So we have to change that works. Right now it is making use of what style? Let's see. Okay, so this is making use of this card style, and we have two different cards and they're both trying to use the same style. So obviously that's not going to end well for anybody. Let us try to change the name. Let's make this flashcard. And so the current card setting that we have is going to give that flashcard, and we're going to sort of copy the basic stylings from here and then make them our own. I think that is a good way to get started with using these third-party libraries. Is you can take their examples and then later on you can just work on them and make them your own. So we have this here. Obviously we also need to change the container, since this sort of expects okay, let's see what we have here. So we can see like a very basic swiper is in place. So right now what sort of happens is that if you swipe through the cards, it sort of finishes everything. But I think we can sort of call that a feature instead of a bug in this case, because if you have gone through all your flashcards, you want them to like be all gone. But we can obviously make something like a reset which brings back all the flashcards. So we can check how to do that just in a while. And I'm going to delete this button since I don't think we need a button. Yeah. Now we can, yeah, like I said, when on swiped all, we can sort of check if they have any other props that we can control, and we can say that okay, bring back all the cards. So we can check that later on. So now what we need to do is, in the render card, right now it's just rendering a view and text. So what we want to do is we want to replace it with the flashcard that we created. So what I'm going to do here is give it called flashcard. But like we remember, flashcard requires both question and answer. And right now this is the array from where we're getting all the data value for our cards. So let's quickly create another array called cards. And in this array, let's create a question and an answer field. And so actually, to make it like more real world usage, let me go and get like some vocab words, since and flashcards most popular for those. So obviously it's altercation where all vocabulary starts from. So I can put that in the question, and then in the answer I can put the meaning. So I'll just do it for like 3-4 things. And yes, okay. Just okay, let me do 3. I think we should do at least 3. Okay. Yes. Does this bring back bad SAT prep memories for any of you? Or were those memories nice for any of you? This ambitious, and there we go. Okay, so we have these this cards array. It has question, answer, everything going on for it, and we can now just replace this with cards. And actually, let me put this inside of our component. I can totally do that. Yes. So we have cards, and now what we want to say is take the flashcard, put the question as card.question, and the answer as card.answer. And now let us take a look at, okay, we need to refresh it since all the cards got swiped out. Let's check this here and see all of them got swiped out, and it did not reload itself. Okay, so we have this here. There is altercation. If we click on it, it flips, and we can just get rid of it, and we can flip it again, and we have a very basic, not very nice looking setup of our flashcards. And now let's try to give it better colors, make sure that the sizes are proper, and yeah, let's see what else happens with it. So the first thing that I really do want to fix is the colors. Like the background color, it's very So what I really like to do when picking colors is just go on like a nice color website, because I can never think of colors on my own. So just click on any of their palettes and use it for my projects. Like, aren't they all so pretty? So what can we pick? Any preferences for any of you? I don't know how you will tell me which one you like. Maybe you can say first from the left or second from the right. But I'm also going to sort of try to go with my own instincts here. I really like pastel colors, but I don't know how they will look with this particular app. Um, oh, but do think that we can make this work. We can sort of put this as the background color. So I can just copy this, and instead of this really loud blue that we have, we can give it like a more Charlie ash. Yes, give it more soothing color. But why wouldn't it change its color is the question that I have. Reload and going ahead. It did not change the color yet. Maybe because this color is coming from somewhere else and not where I expected it to come from. So view styles.container. This is the style that I have. Yep. So if I were to make it white, okay, we're not seeing. Okay. Second from the left. Bravo, classic. Okay. So second from the left, which one did you mean? This is too confusing. I'm so sorry. I have to make you all go through this. So I'm going to just stick with what I picked. Let's just stick with this. Or no, maybe wait. Maybe the colors are too pink. Okay, we can use this blue and this sort of red orange shade. But you all are like feel free to go ahead with whatever color scheme works best for you. All right. So this. It's not showing. It's not reflecting on the CSS changes. Let's check out why that could be. But first, let me change all of the colors. For the face, I'm thinking of a color which is maybe like this. I can try and see how those colors look up and change that later on. And for the back, let's sort of go with this. Okay, so something is wrong with the class that we're using because clearly these are changing their face. Okay, so let's try to look where. Oh, so it gave the background color here, and let's see if I remove this line of code. That is quite interesting. So I'm going to bring this back, but I'm just going to sort of give it this color that we need to give. And there we go. Please refresh. Okay, so apparently there is another source through which it's getting the background color. That is very interesting. Where else can the if you yes, it is perfectly okay to learn React if you have very basic knowledge in JS, because when I started learning React, I had very little understanding of how JS works. I was only familiar with HTML, and while I was learning React, I got to learn a lot about all other JavaScript concepts. JavaScript is not a very hard language, especially if you've worked with any other language. It's quite easy to pick on, and yeah, you can get a hang of once you get a hang of the React concepts, because there are a couple of them involved. You can very easily learn it without being like absolutely brilliant at JS. That's not required, not at all. Okay, so let's see. The background color here should be this tone that we have picked, right? Yeah. But what we see instead is a blue color, which means we really need to investigate where the blue color is coming from. The styling that we have provided it is basically this background color here, and we gave it a container styling. So both of these are pointing towards the same color, so it's quite surprising that it is taking on this blue color at all. Oh, we just needed to refresh it. So we have that in place, and the other thing that we need to do is align items to center, and we want to justify content to center as well, and no changes reflected whatsoever. All right, no problem, we can still do this. So flashcard. It was 200. Let's give it a flex 1, and we can maybe sort of increase the width. And yes, the height, maybe I would like to keep it to 80% if that is the thing here. Hmm. Did it actually make any change? It did not. I'm not the best person with CSS, so sort of always find it like an experiment to see what works and what doesn't. So when it comes to the back, I sort of want to say that please use the white color instead of black. So no, please change the color that you're using. Hmm. Okay. What are we using for the text? Style surface. Maybe the text styling needs to change. So if I stay style color white, will this work? This seems to work. So we can give it a style that says style.backtext, or we can say styles.answer, and we can create an answer style. And we can give the color to be white. Very good thing about CSS is just you can write the name of the colors and it's still going to sort of give you that color. So yeah, basic setup, and yeah, yes, I agree with you. The flashcards need to be shorter. I was trying to reduce the height, but I have been unable to reduce the height as of now. But we're going to keep on going, and we're going to hope that we can get the height to be shorter. So height, okay, first let's try to give it like absolute values and see if that works. If anything can get it to change its height, it would be pretty nice. Let's look at the swiper and see if there are any properties that we might have missed in the process. Okay, folks, since I've been talking for 1 hour straight, I'm going to take a 5-minute break where I'm just going to like drink water, stretch out a bit, make sure that I'm ready to continue for another half an hour at least. Font should be bigger. I completely agree with you. Let's talk more about what you folks are doing so that I can take a break from coding and, just maybe like charge down for 2-3 minutes and get back on it. So please feel free to share links of the projects that you're working on, any ideas that you might have, or any other stuff that you're interested in possibly working in the future once you have the basics of mobile app development under your belt. Yep. Okay, I'm just going to close Android Studio since we don't seem to need it. Okay, going off stream for maybe just a second. Hang on tight, and I will be back in a jiffy. That is actually so nice to hear. I think if you have like the basic shapes already, that is so amazing. Downloading React and getting everything in place does take a lot of time. So I relate with you. What sort of tips are you looking for so that you know I'm not really sure what this question means at this point. So let me know in more details what you're asking. Yes, Adam, I've not forgotten this. I just got two texts to join the server, so I will be joining it super soon after the stream ends. First thing that I'll be doing. Um, okay, I guess I'm sort of back, so we can get back to it. Yes. So coming back to my code, and what we're trying to do now is okay. Adding back to stream. Yes. What we're trying to do now is just sort of improve the way it looks. So how anybody would envision flashcards is that they're smaller, like they're more like rectangular. So yeah, so we just want to make sure that the height is a little smaller, and obviously the fonts need to be bigger for sure. Uh, to make that process easier, let's also do a style of styles.question, and we can sort of change the way both of these look. Also, thanks for putting this up. I'm going to share my socials up here to make sure that you all can follow me, and drop me text if you have any problems, so that I would be happy to help all of you out. This is my Twitter handle, so yeah, you can just contact me there. Yes, I also had it next to my name. Thanks for noticing. Okay, so we are here. We have to do classes. We have question and answer, and we want to get back here and sort of just create these classes. Okay. So the first thing that we should do is increase the font size for sure. I think making it 18 should be okay. Yes, okay, we can go bigger, a bit bigger for the question, since there are vocab words. Now, depending on what you're making the flashcard app for, you can totally change like the font size and stuff. Since I know right now if there are flashcards for vocab, the word is always going to be smaller, so I can use a 28 font without it being weird. And for the answer, I can keep it to maybe 18. Sorry, 16 is what you would keep it to. Maybe we can also increase the width a bit, or let's just say we want to give it 80% width. That is not possible. Okay, sorry, 80% width. Does that not work? Okay, no, it probably does work, but I'm not using it right. So okay, let's get rid of this, and let's first see what 100% width would look like. So the 100% does work fine. Now what we want to sort of do is put this to 90%, and here I want to align my content. Sorry, align the items in the center. So there is a gray background that is also there, and I need to adjust things accordingly. Yes, so we should get there. We will get there. I have faith in this. Probably. Okay, so card is something that is being used to provide styling there. So the flip card is using flashcard, which is this particular card, and the card styling that I am doing is actually not being used anywhere, right? So if I were to go ahead and remove this piece of code, yeah, we aren't using the style anywhere. It's quite insane. Why do we even have this? Why was I trying to edit this if we don't have a style? Let's check if Swiper can have a style. And if it can, then how can we change stuff coming to it? So there are so many props that it has. Um, okay. Wow. This is the big package. Let's try to read through this. So we have cards, render card, key extractor. Okay. So I think this is something we should say true to so that we don't come across that problem where we had swiped everything. So oh, this makes it so easy for us. I thought we would have to implement the functionality somehow, but I can just be like infinite is equal to true, and now I can endlessly swipe through my flashcards. Brilliant. Yes. Okay. Hello. Hi, Veer. Thank you for joining us. We're trying to create a flashcard app to help us basically memorize stuff when we're studying. So that's what we're doing. You can feel free to go ahead and make any sort of mobile application that you want to on any platform. The platform that I'm using is React Native, and I'm developing only for Android. Okay. So let's go back and see if we can style our deck swiper. So these are the swipe animation props. No, not the things that we need. Overlay label style. Okay. Um, hmm. Style sheet example. They did give us a style sheet example. See, the card styling is for this, and the container is for this. Let's also check their demo and see if they have something user. So what I'm using is a virtual device on my system. So you can actually get this via Android Studio. Android Studio has this sort of virtual device. It has an Android virtual device, AVD. So using that, you can create an emulator of any of the Android phones. I'm using a Pixel 3 here, and I can just build all of my apps on here. I also like to use my mobile phone, so just like I connected with my system and I can easily like try to use my app on there. That's also a possibility because the emulators can get real slow, so using your phone can also be a good option. But for purposes of the stream, I think this was okay. So yeah. Uh, these are okay, let's look at the example that they have and see if they can give us any styling tips because I'm really bad at styling stuff. Styles. Okay, they have overlay label. We sort of need to understand what the overlay label does because right now I have no understanding of what it does whatsoever. Okay. We did change, yeah. Okay. Why are all of these suddenly flipped to be? Oh, maybe because I flipped all of them. Yes, probably. Okay, stack size and why is changing the height proving to be such a big? Okay, let's try to copy their overlay label, put it on our swiper, and just see what it does. So that, yeah, maybe we're missing something out and it has a purpose, which I wouldn't understand without playing it out scene by scene. So let's do that. This is the flip card. This is the deck swiper. After infinite, I can just paste this piece of code and let's see what happens. Seems like nothing happened. Okay, I'm going to refresh it and no, we haven't been able to see any change, which means I'm not using this properly. So I'm going to get rid of all of these lines of code and not copy anything without understanding what it does. Okay, update props on card content. That is working fine. All right. This user's example was perfect, blah, blah, blah. Let's actually try to, they haven't used it, but we can try to use a style here. So let's first try inline styling and just give it like a height of 500. And directly styling does not work. So if you want to make your creation a downloadable app, what you need to do is you need to build your application. So React Native actually tells you how to do this. If we were using React Native with Expo, this process would become a lot simpler. If we come to the docs, there's actually React Native built. So okay, let's try to go. Where did it go? Let's just build React Native apps. So we can just walk through this. So it basically has guides on how you can publish it to Apple Store and also to Android. So obviously there are a couple of things that we need to set in place. Not very familiar with iOS development, so I'm going to sort of skip this guide and for Android, and let us find the official documentation. It seems to not be there. Okay, let's look at other links. Also, if we come back here and we check this file called the package.json, yeah, we can see a couple of dependencies and stuff that we're using. And let's come back here. So, okay. These are a couple of optimizations that we have to do, making sure that our code is linted properly. This is basic stuff. And just a second, let's come down here. No, this is not what we're looking for. Pulling this together. Yeah, you can add like icons and just like customize the way your Android app would look like. Then later down here, we create a release, we give it a key, which is required by the Play Store. So we sort of need an upload key to say that this app is signed by Google Play. And then there are a couple of changes that we do need to make in the Android and the iOS files separately. So that is one thing that is like not completely like one code for both platforms. Even in cross-platform codes, we sort of have to make different changes based on whether we're publishing it for Android or whether we're publishing it for iOS. So that, and then we can sort of release it via Google Play Store. So there's a bit of a longer process to release it all the way to Google Play Store. But you can always like build your app and share the APK with your friends. We're just working on front end in this session. So yeah, so I'm trying to keep the mobile app really simple and basic. So I'm sticking to just the front end. It's super simple to add. If we wanted to add simply a database to it, we could just connect it with Firebase, and we could very easily make it work with dynamic content. But it sort of would exceed the time of our session. So I'm going to keep it sweet, short, and simple by like this very basic app that you can sort of use whenever you need to. So yep. I think I'm sort of giving up on the height, but I'm pretty sure it's doable. It's going to take a bit of a time to do that. One more thing that there are obviously a couple of features that we can add to this. Is basically we could have an ad here, and we can add flashcards, sorry, the questions and answers. So right now it's like all hard coded by an array, but we can use the async storage, or like basically the local storage of our devices, and store the question and answers there instead of using a database, since this flashcard app is just for our use and we don't really need anybody else to use it. So we can create like a small button here which says okay, should we try to make it? I do not have enough time, but we can try to like do stuff. Why not? So button which says add, let's just say it says add. So button, oh sorry, not using button this way. Button title add, yes. Now this is interesting. It's all styling issues. So let us see how to fix this. Flex direction, we can say column, and we can actually go back to how they started their work, and that is going to give us tips on how to use buttons. So they had a swiper, a button. Oh, okay, not using it correctly then. I'm just going to take this and copy this here. So on press, we need to add a piece of code, adding flashcard and add, and let's just call all of this add. Align content, justify center. Okay, makes sense. It sort of put everything in the center. Yes, exactly. All right, so we have the add button in place, this, and now what we want to do is we want to make use of this local storage that I'm talking about. So previously there used to be a package called async storage in React Native, which used to be a part of like the official um, React Native support, but they recently dropped support for it, and they ask you to use one of the community packages instead. So the community package that I would be moving forward with is this thing right here. It's called React Native MMKV, and they claim to be 30 times faster than async storage. So let's see what they've got. We can go ahead and try to install this in our application. We can be like, sorry, what did it? Oh, just CSS things. Okay, so we do a yarn add and we get this local storage in place. So we want to initialize it with these values. Okay, so I'm going to now make use of a couple of React concepts. I understand that some of you might not get it. You can always go ahead and read up about React hooks, because that's how we will be managing our state here. Cards and okay. So we have defined our state. Actually, this should not be initial cards. We sort of want to add them one by one, so I might just get rid of these initial cards to begin with. I'm just going to use state. Okay, so React Native MMKV, we have that set up. Now let's see how to use it. We can quickly import it. We add the import here. Now what we want to do is we want to try to get the flashcards, so we can just use this get string, get all keys, and yeah, as the library uses remote debugging is no longer possible. That is okay. We do not need to do remote debugging at this point. But what we need to get is like the array and not a string. So wonder if that would be possible. Let's try that though. Get string. Okay, we can always do that. Yes. So the initial value that we set for our state is going to be this get string of flashcards. And then what we sort of do is we can create this other function that is going to add cards to our process. So to add cards, what we will do is we will do all cards, we will get the string, and yeah, we sort of want to make it an array, and but we have a string, so we need to convert this string to basically an array, so we can use split, and we can split by commas. So let's see how that would work. Okay, so we can first use this. Okay, I sort of have forgotten the split command in JavaScript, so I can go ahead and do that right now. Prototype split, yes. And array is going to be old cards dot split by a comma, and we have that. Then I can just do cards array dot push, and we will sort of give it the new card that we have. So we push the new card to it, and then we will join these together with a comma, and then we will set the local storage to be flashcards. I hope I make sense. New cards is going to be cards array dot, let's see how join works in JavaScript. JavaScript join. Okay, so what will it join itself with? Yeah, it joined itself via commas. So that's exactly what we need to do. We just say cards array dot join. Now we have all our cards in like a string format, but we can like quickly switch back and forth through it. So we come out here, and yes, what we need to do now is mmkv dot set. So sorry, what did it do? kv dot set. We want to set flashcards to be this new cards that we have. Okay, sort of have it set here. It might work, it might not work, because there are a couple of things that we haven't handled yet. Like, for example, what if there is no flashcard string to begin with? How does this work in that case? Will the library handle this for us, or do we have to handle this on our own? These are a couple of questions that are not answered, so we will get to know that. Okay, let me see if this gives us any okay, so it can give us string or it can give us undefined. Perfect. So we have sort of set the cards here to be this set cards, and we also want to set cards to new cards. Yes, I still a couple of things would be a bit not properly working here. I'm pretty sure this does not seem to be the perfect answer as of now. Let's not remove our initial cards so soon. And oh, one more thing that we really have to do at this point is we basically need to add navigation, since when I click on the add button, right now there is no way for it. Oh, use state is undefined. Okay, obviously we need to add use state here. And what else does it require that we haven't? Oh, mmkv.getString is undefined. Oh, it gave us an undefined string. Well, that was expected. Okay, so instead of doing this directly here, which I did think wasn't a brilliant idea to begin with, let's do a use effect. So we have Okay, so use effect is a bit complex thing. Again, like I said, you can read about it on the React documentation. They have very well explanations for how all of these things work. So I can first say no const what do we call it now? Flashcards. Yes, that is some term I haven't used yet. Then we do kv.getString. We want to say flashcards. If flashcards is undefined, we want to set mkv.set flashcards to be this empty string, because we want flashcards to be there. We're just saying be an empty string. We're okay with that. If that is not the case, then what we do is we take set cards and we actually we can do that. So we take set cards, and inside of it we do flashcards dot split by comma, and we sort of split it, the whole thing. So now we're going to sort of hope that this works and it doesn't give us an error. So while it did work, we can see it has very properly ruined some of our implementation here. It's basically making our app crash. mmkv.getString is undefined. So let's go back here and see. Get all keys, get string. I hope I was using that correctly. Okay, apparently there's more to the installation. Apparently, not sure. Okay. I see. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to sort of skip this part and instead work on the form that would let you add flashcards to begin with. Okay. Alrighty, let's do this. So obviously navigation just can't happen naturally. So we have this library called React Navigation. So we just take this and we put that. Okay, so while this is going on, obviously I'm not going to finish the whole thing. We don't have a lot of time left. I want to hear what you folks are doing. So what is it that you're working on and how far along have you come? And my voice has started cracking. Let me know in the comments what you're working on, what you're thinking to work on, and I'd be happy to chat with you about your projects and whatever it is that you're doing. So yes, we also have the navigation library in place, and we can see we do have to use a bit of stuff here. Yes, and in index.js we sort of need to import this. So this we should be good to go. Yeah. That is great news. Seems like, yeah, you're almost there. You just need to implement a bit more of the logic and good to go. Yeah, sort of done-ish, but pretty good. I'm also done-ish. So none of us are finishing our whole apps in like 1 hour or 2 hours. So that is perfectly fine. What about other folks? What are you all working on, and how can I help you out in the process? Yeah. So all of our app needs to stay inside a navigation container. So let's also do that. Let's store this whole view inside the navigation container. we have this installed, so I can just get this line and okay. So navigation container seems to be working here. Also, it looks like that mmkv can't work properly if you're using sorry, yeah, it can't work properly if you're using this one, reanimated, um React Native reanimated, right? Wait. React Native reanimated also uses GSI. There'll be conflicts if you install both libraries at the same time. And from what I just saw, we are using React Native reanimated for navigation. So, not exactly sure how maybe we can fix this. Okay. Hmm. So there's a couple of settings that we need to change. This is mostly in the Android folder, and these are a couple of Java files that we have to change. So this is the interesting part when it comes to React Native. It is all JavaScript just till the time you're sort of developing features for your application. But when it comes to making sure that everything works correctly, or when you're trying to make sure that you want to build it to iOS, you want to build it to Android, the process then diverges, and then you have to follow like two separate flows to make it work. So while they save one code for like both platforms, it's sort of a scam. Yeah. Okay, so we've come this far. Let's see what else we can do. Unknown module 622. I am not trying to use that module. Who is? Let's check. The dependency map, and look at that map. Oh wow. Okay. Probably entered something incorrect in the process. Oh, sort of added this navigation that I should not have. Possibly. Did the navigation container give me this error? Also, the gesture that I added here, that should probably also go in the app.js file, which is where we're making everything else. Okay, reload, and there is a violation is registered. Okay, so this, and yep, blank screen, back to blank screen again, folks. Does look like this calls for restarting our whole process. So let's go back and restart the whole thing. We seem to have broken the run command. Okay, React Native and run Android. Yep, there we go. We're running the Android server. We can go ahead and close this. Yes, it did start a lot of instances, so which is why we got a couple of problems. Um, we could obviously make the app prettier, and yeah, that's definitely an improvement that could be there. Okay, more errors, and here we go. Okay, hopefully it will build now. No, we don't need to build it right now. I need to just run it. Wow, that was not very smart. So React Native start, and here what we need to do is npx React Native run Android. Yep. I hope you all are not feeling too overwhelmed with everything that's going on. It can get a little confusing if you're new to the platform, but pretty sure all of you will get the hang of the framework once you've been using it for even like 2-3 days. Let's install this, and so we can sort of see that 62% execution period is going to build soon. I think around 2 hours of talking, and you realize that you just cannot talk anymore. Yes, you do reach that limit. Build soon. What else can we do while we're waiting for this to build? This and sort of, yes, we want to add the navigation container. And then we can either add like a stack. I think a stack is good to begin with. A stack is what we need. So basically, this is what the stack would work like. Oh, they should. Basically, if you click on the button, it just open a new stack on it, and then you can pop it. So exactly how a stack data structure works. Okay, we have the app back running. Good to know that it's still properly working. Let's add this one more library that we need to use, which is add React navigation stack. And let's see how this works. So we basically have a navigation container and a navigator. So we can just quickly go ahead and import those. And okay, so wow, 1 second. Okay, so what we need to do first is we sort of want to take this code out and we want to put it in a different component, right? So technically we would be using more files, but right now for all purposes I'm just going to use this one file since I don't think it's a very big project to begin with. So at least at this stage, but obviously it will grow, and what we will do is we will put the flashcard in a separate file, we will put the home screen in a separate file, and we'll put the styles in a separate file. So all of this will not reside under app.js, but right now it's just easy for everybody to follow if we do it this way. So which is why we're doing it this way. We take this entire thing, the entire view, we copy it, we sort of cut it, and we put it right here, and there we go. Okay, we need to fix indentation, so let me do that. And yeah, okay, so just sort of basically this one needs to go perfect, exactly where I want this to be. And yeah, we have sort of come to this empty return statement, so now we can add this piece of code here. So we have our navigation container, we have a navigator, and we've added one screen to it, which is the home screen. So as you can see, all of this is in place. This is making use of initial cards, and I just hope that we can give it initial cards. So I'm going to take this out of the app container now and sort of, so this is definitely very messy code. This is not ideal. Like I said, we need to split it in a couple of files for it to look very nice and pretty and organized. But yeah, this is what we have so far. So we want this to sort of work. So let's see if the navigation is working for us. It cannot find stack. Why can it not find stack? Because we haven't created a stack. So this is something we need to do. Okay, and once we've done that, it's going to refresh. Still did not refresh. Yeah, so you can see this home title now. This happens because we added a stack to it, and this is sort of how the whole thing would look now. And obviously I understand a lot of styling placement is very bad here, and we definitely need to adhere to better CSS practices to make sure that all of this looks a lot better than it is looking right now. But this is going to require a bit of diving into how these third-party packages are working. That is one benefit that using our custom animation gives us, that we have a lot of control over the styling because, well, we understand what's happening. I mean, we're not using code by somebody else or packages by somebody else. So gives us a lot of flexibility in that department. So now what I want to do is we want to add another screen to it. So let's see how they have done the navigation. Is you basically add another screen to it and then you sort of push navigation. So let's create another screen, another view basically, which would sort of give us add flashcard is what I'll call the screen, and a return would plainly give a text right now adding flashcard, but this will obviously have a form with question answer details so that you can, well, yeah, styles or container, tap, and yes. So now we need to add another stack screen to this. So we have stack.screen, we give this the name add, and we sort of give the component add flashcard to this. So we've created a stack here. Now we can go to the home screen on press. Now apart from this, it will do another thing that is going to be yep. So let's do the navigation moving between screens, and this is exactly how you would do it. So all of these screens, since they're a part of a stack, they can get this prop passed on to them, which is navigation. So navigation, and we just say that here navigation dot, okay, let's just check here. Yeah, it is navigate. Navigation dot navigate add, and when we come here, click on add, it took us to the screen that we wanted it to take us, and come back, and we have the flow in place. So now simple stuff. All we need to do is we want to add text input. Sorry, we call it input. We do call it text input. So we just sort of need these two text inputs, and we need to put placeholder text on them. Placeholder is question. Placeholder here becomes answer, and we add. Obviously, we haven't, again, like, we need to import all of this stuff. Using IDs like WebStorm and all makes it super simple to just do auto imports. VS Code also does is, but so you see we can add question answer. Now ideally what we would do is, okay, we also need like a submit button, so let's just add that also real quick. Button title submit add. Oh, interesting. God. Oh my god, that is well, yeah. Thank you so much for joining, and hopefully your TikTok app goes well. Looking forward to checking out your submission on Devpost. Have a great day to you too. Thank you so much for joining the stream again. Okay, yeah, so we have all of the add things in place. Now all the setup that is required is we want to basically use local storage or any such sort of storage. Hey Adam, thank you so much for joining. Oh my god, thank you for staying up late till 5 a.m. I'm going to go on for like just 5 more minutes since my battery is sort of dying, because talking for 2 hours is not easy at all. Oh my god. How do other people do it? I don't get it. But it's been amazing. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just going to head out of this stream in 5 minutes too. So a couple of things I'm just going to leave them open-ended here is how we're going to handle the adding. I could very well just connect it to Firebase at this place. When we add card, we add a new entry to the database, and then we sort of just fetch it all here. So there's always a lot that you can do with it. I hope that I was able to show you the basics of mobile app development and build like something cool and fun with all of you. Yeah. So do share your projects with me. It would be lovely to see everything that you're working on. You can reach out to me on my Twitter handle, which is at manya_ag. It's also right there on the stream. Thank you, literally, thank you so much, everybody, for joining the stream today. I think it was the first time I was developing like React Native on stream, so that was really super nice to do with all of you. And you all have literally taken out time at like 3 a.m. in the morning or like 7:30 a.m. In the morning, and well, yeah, that is wonderful. That is what the spirit is for. Please do not forget to make your submissions on Devpost. You can submit the create a mobile app submissions on the week-long Devpost, since it's going for like the entirety of LHD, and it does not really have anything to do with the particular day. So do make your submissions. Looking forward to them. It's really nice to like interact with all of you today. Bye bye, and see you all later in a different stream.